Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the International Fabtalks. Thank you for being a part of our life, a part of our journey, and a part of our beautiful world that is the International Fabtalks. And dear friends, today we have a special celebrity joining us from Chennai. He is Mr.N.J.Aden.Iruadayara, a person who has gone to the other way of taking life into a beautiful zone, giving his expertise, his energy to those people who require him the most. It's a path where many of us will not walk into. Many of us will think, yeah, we are comfortable doing this work and that work. But here is our special celebrity who has crossed all barriers, boundaries, geographical boundaries, and gone across the world and given his expertise, his time, energy, and love, because he believes in humanity, that human beings are the most important, the source of living here. Apart from all the animals and the creatures, it is the human beings who are at the highest level, and he would love to see all of them having their due respect, love. Humanity is the biggest religion in the world, my dear friends, and love is the universal language. So we have a person here who believes in these two aspects. Love is the universal language and humanity is the greatest religion. Yes, dear sir, welcome to this beautiful session called the International Fab Talks. Thank you for accepting the invite.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this session.
Thank you, sir. Dear friends, it's time now to officially introduce our guest. There's a long list, so many feathers into his cap. Let's see how many, and go ahead. Dear sir, with your permission, I'd like to introduce you in an official way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving me the chance and opportunity. Dear friends, sir is so humble and polite and down to earth. And ask me why, you will get to know very soon. In a very official way, Mr.N.J.Aden.Iruadayara has been a constant support to many people out there, not only India, across the world, as I mentioned earlier. He's the chairperson for CAMPS Education Trust and chairperson for Asha Niketan Community, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Apart from this, there's a beautiful way to share his profile with all of you. You could be the next Aden Raj. He is lovingly called as Aden Raj. You could be the next one. If you believe in humanity, if you believe that love is the universal language, here is it all for you to understand his profile. He has been 25 years into this beautiful field. He has a lot of experience in humanitarian and development work as country director, area manager, and consultant with different international organizations. Even in not only different national organizations, it is international organizations as well. They are called as International NGOs, INGO. The field of protection, emergency support, disability rights, WASH, wash shelter, education, formal and non-formal education, livelihoods, social cohesion, and capacity building for CBOs. Sir has also given his expertise and worked with faith-based and rights-based international organizations, international NGOs. He has completed his master's in management and labor laws. As a country director and area manager, he has worked very closely with UNICEF. That's great, sir. UNHCR and WFP, central and local governments, and CBOs. He has great experience in program planning, development, and implementation. He has also been actively involved in policy formation and strategy planning, HR planning and performance management, budgetary control, capacity building, community mobilization, effective leadership crisis management, public relations, child-centered and rights-based approaches to implementation, contextual analysis with a view to self-sufficiency and self-reliance. What a way to live a life. That's really a way to give the best of best that you have within you to the world. That's beautiful, sir. He has represented several NGOs, not only in India, but across the world at various levels, and a variety of interagencies and donor meetings, including meeting each other, different writings and meetings, including great proposals that he's been giving forward his time to understand the proposals or putting forward a proposal, a request. In South and Central Iraq, he has worked as the head of the mission on a certain area. That is, like, I'll repeat that, in Southern and Central Iraq, as head of mission, he was responsible for ensuring that projects were implemented in accordance with donor agreements and managed about 12 expat managers to ensure that project cycle management was carefully applied, because there may be certain things that you have to really give your focus, and sir has really given his time, energy, and focus on that. As head of mission, he was part of the country management team and was in charge of overseeing security in South and Central Iraq. In Uganda, as UNHCR's implementation partner for education programs, they ran nursery, primary, and secondary schools for refugee children. As I said, the path is quite different. It's not the normal path. It is something else that sir has given his time. For children and orphans, the refugees, and introduced inclusive educational methods for intellectually challenged and slow learners. Not only refugee children, even the intellectually challenged, the special needs children and slow learners. In all, about 40,000 refugees directly or indirectly benefited from their program, which sir was a part of and the head of that mission. While in Uganda, as country director, they all conducted many emergency and support programs where they provided legal assistance, food and non-food items, as well as cash dispersals to asylum seekers and refugees with disabilities, urban refugees as well living in Kampala. In Thailand, sir was in charge of 6 programs, out of which 3 were livelihood, emergency support, and capacity building programs, where they provided cash assistance for medical and accommodation as well, food and non-food items, legal assistance, work skills, and income generating programs. That's really beautiful. Income generating programs is really wonderful, apart from all of the others as well, for families with disabled members and single mothers, etc. And sir has focused also much on giving his best. He has also ran his own vocational training and non-formal education center, where they provide livelihood skill training and life skill training for young refugees as they may be required to build their country. That is Myanmar. That's really nice. Myanmar is Burma, sir.
Yeah, Burma. Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
the world name for that is Burma, now
yes.
Myanmar. Yeah.
Yes. And once peace is restored in the country, and then, people can go back there and live in peace. So this is how sir has been giving his time for all the refugees who really require our love, understanding that it's not their fault, it is the fault of somebody else that they are suffering. And they are called as the refugees because they are the real sufferers when there is a war or when there is some type of revolution going on in their country. Sir has also pioneered with civil societies to start the peace building and education program in Uganda, Southern Sudan, and Thailand as well. The aim of the peace building program was to engage the community in conflict mitigation, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence, and to contribute proactively towards the betterment of their country or community, you could say, mainly engaging women and the youth. He has attended various training programs, workshops, seminars, conferences, symposiums, etc. on issues, guess what? Refugees issues. You rightly guessed that, refugee issues and problems. Most notably, he attended several summer courses as well on refugee issues and forced migration. My dear friends, forced migration, let's concentrate on that word. You could even Google that up, or sir could really give us the meaning of forced migration. I know it. I'm sure you will also know that. And if no, do your homework and research. Sir has been attending summer courses on refugee issues and forced migration at Queen Elizabeth House, Oxford. He has also attended a highly intensive and multidisciplinary academic course in International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance at Fordham University, New York. I repeat that, an international diploma, completed an international diploma course in Humanitarian Assistance at Fordham University, New York, USA. And dear friends, the list goes on and on. And if I keep sharing sir's profile, it will take another 10 to 20 minutes. Let's get started with this beautiful session of getting to know who is this real person and celebrity who is so down to earth, who has no ego issues, and says, yes, I am ready for anything and everything. I would love many people to be like me. I would love them to choose those fields which are really difficult to choose. Jump out of your comfort zone. Dear sir, thank you for being with us, and let us know how your journey began. May we really know now who is the real Aden, who has been, coming out of his comfort zone and giving his time and energy and his entire life to this beautiful cause.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for such a beautiful introduction of me. Basically, I'm a commerce person. I was trained to be in the commerce line. I did my bachelor's in commerce, and then soon after that, did my master's in commerce. And then I was lecturing in the college, St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, business studies. And then, at the college time itself, I was part of a, youth movement in the college, All India Catholic University Federation, it's called, where I was inspired by their motto. The motto goes like this: we are born in an unjust world, and we are determined not to live it as we found it. That has been ringing in my ears all the time. As a student, as a scholastic learning things, that has been something at the back of my mind. What is it? What is this unjust world? Why we don't want to live it as it is, and what type of world that we should be living in? A world of humanity, where everybody is equal, everybody has share of the resources that are available. There is peace and tranquility everywhere, and that is the world we want to live in. And unfortunately, because of the selfishness, egoism, we divide ourselves between caste, creed, and the nations. And now we have boundaries, and that causes a lot of problems. And as a student, I was also very much involved in helping the Sri Lankan refugees, in Tamil Nadu at the time. I did my master's here in Loyola College, Chennai. And then at the time I was associated with some of those Jesuit priests who were actively involved in helping the refugees with providing them some basic needs like soap and so on. So I used to go to different schools, talk to children about, refugee camps. It's a kind of temporary refugee camps around Chennai. They are living in a very poor conditions, and then they don't have much of support other than little bit they get from UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Commissioner for Refugees, actually. So basically what happened was I used to join this priest and then collecting things for these people, as part of my social service as a student. And then from then what happens, I met a person who came from Cambodia. At the time there was in the 80s and the 90s, there was a big number of refugees, in Cambodia. And Cambodia itself was generating a lot of refugees because of the conflict there. That is because of the ideological conflict, political conflict that happened in Vietnam and Cambodia. The Vietnamese refugees were living in Cambodia at that time. So this particular person was a Frenchman. He came to Chennai and then gave us a talk at the college. So hearing him, I was very much inspired. A man who has got different talents, different experience, and he left everything and then went to work with refugees in Cambodia for the Vietnamese. And that, touched me. And then I said, I need to do something. That is part of an inspiration for me to move out of my comfort zone. I could have been very well teaching in the college and then earning a life that would have felt comfortable enough for me. So that was there at the back of my mind. After that, at the time after my master's, I could teach in the colleges. So I went to St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, to teach there. I taught there for a year, and then I felt that is not the calling for me. Okay, I need to do something different. So I applied to an NGO to work with the refugees. And then they were looking at a place for me, either Cambodia or Uganda, because these are the two countries where I could work. I knew at the time Tamil, a bit of Bengali, and then English. So most of the other places you need French or Spanish and other languages, to work with these refugees. So Cambodia, I could manage with the English, and then Uganda as well, English. So basically, at the end of the day, and then when they asked me, I said I would prefer Africa. So I went to Africa for a few years just to see whether I can cope with it, because a different country, different people, and I wouldn't know whether they will accept me, whether I can cope with the demands of the work and so on. So that journey that began with a few years and then ended up for 25 years. That is basically to give you, a long brief about me.
Yes, that's a beautiful journey. And giving full 25 years, many of them wouldn't do that. Many would think, yeah, I need to, that is enough. I wouldn't want to go here and there. I would like to focus and have a comfortable life. But for you, it is traveling across the world and seeing pain and suffering every now and then on a daily basis, I guess, maybe that would be very true. So that's really very nice, sir. We would love to have many more people like you. I just feel, it should be like the Robo movie where one person and there are many like him. So if the world has many people like you, thinking like you, with the same mindset of bringing a change in the society, there would be like very less pain, more of peace in the world. Yes, sir. Dear sir, we'd like to know about your childhood. Would you take us back to your childhood? Is there anything interesting that happened in your childhood that you remember till date? It's very fresh in your mind.
My childhood has been very normal. We lived in a very close outside Chennai, close to Chennai, very closed community we were, because we were basically migrants ourselves, from Andhra, Telugu speaking people who have migrated from there and then came to live in around Chennai. That is, I suppose, maybe that's how, subconsciously I was pulled towards this one, mainly because, we were about, in the year 15th century, basically, we were moved from Andhra to Tamil Nadu because of our own, religious belief at that time, possibly. So we had to move from there towards Chennai. You see, so the missionaries moved this side, and then with them we moved this side as well. So that's our background, and then basically a very closed community in that way, because we were linguistically different. So at home we speak one language, and then when we come out we have to speak another language, that is Tamil, and then that's the life that has been for me. But because of my own upbringing, my father has been working, with the army for many years. So that is some kind of a service to people has been instilled in us from at the early age for us, basically. So that has been there. We were part of many social activities as a family, even within our village where we lived. So that is something I see that is coming through in all of us as a family.
Yes, sir. Any incident you remember? You were the naughty one, the shy one. Any scolding from the teacher or from parents? Like you still remember, it's fresh in your mind.
Maybe there are many.
One unforgettable incident you could share, sir.
Can't remember anything at the moment. I can't remember. One of the things, when I was asked to speak about India, and then, it was on the spot. They have asked me to speak, and then somehow, I don't know exactly what I spoke, but I could remember at the end of my speech, it used to be for the whole assembly. I've been the school people leader in the school, and then suddenly they said, we were very close to Independence Day, I think. They asked me to say about India something, and then I spoke whatever I knew or whatever my teachers taught me at the time. But after that, the whole assembly was clapping. I felt very proud moment at the time, and it still rings in my ears. Like, wow, I don't know what I said, but people appreciated what I said. All the students appreciated, teachers appreciated what I said. So that is something that I keep, cherishing all the time. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That reminds me of my school days. I was even scared to hold, a paper like this and read the assembly. We used to read the thoughts of the day or some news or something. Yeah. It would really scare me, and I would shiver. I just could form that visual picture when you were sharing, like you gave the speech and they all applauded you and clapped for you. But for me, it was a source of fear at that time when I was in the class, in 7th class. I remember that. So that came right in front of my eyes, that memory. Yes, dear. I went back and I've come back now again here. Yes, it makes us nostalgic when somebody shares. Yes, we to get that.
That's true.
Process. Dear sir, thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. And that has made you stronger because there are very minute things which you've observed as a youngster. From you being like shifting from Andhra to Chennai and seeing the changes over there, and the difficulties that, as you say, one language was within your home, and then if you came out, you had to converse in another language. All of this has somewhere brought you to where you are today, wanting to be giving people that comfort zone, making them feel comfortable, loved, cared, and above all, accepted. Acceptance.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, on this beautiful journey of 25 plus years, you might have gone through a lot of ups and downs. We all do. Any profession. Either you're a professional or not non-professional, we all face a lot of stress, personal and professional stress as well. How did you manage the stress levels that you faced, your personal stress and the stress that you've seen around you, the challenges around you, seeing the suffering of people? How did that impact your life and how did you manage all of that?
Yeah. So it's been a very difficult journey. I was very young when I was pushed into this work, and then it puts a lot of stress on you because you are dealing with people who are traumatized themselves. Dealing with trauma is not an easy thing. People have walked, hundreds of kilometers to a safer place. They are traumatized on the way. They have no food, hungry. So to deal with such people and be with them, accompanying them, it itself is a stressful situation. So you need to have ways and means of handling such stress. So it's very difficult. Initially, it has overpowered me in a way, because I didn't know how to handle stress. I was a young man trying to conquer the world in a way, like, oh, I can do everything kind of an attitude. I am here to serve you kind of an attitude. Afterwards, you realize, no, it is not I am serving them. They are also serving me. They are making me the better person in the process. You see, that one of the things is they taught me the whole notion of resilience, how to handle stress, how to take people who have been devastated, uprooted from their country, from their homes, from their soil. They have nothing for them. And then you see a smile on their face. Wow, that's great. I thought, if they have such a smile, in spite of so much of negativity is around them, and here I am trying to do a little bit for them, and then I get so stressed. So that kind of thing that motivated me. First, the people themselves, the service, the people that, I deal with, that kind of a source of inspiration for me. The other thing is I've also learned to distance myself from my work. Otherwise you are enmeshed with your work all the time. An NGO work is not 6 to 7 or evening work or kind of a thing. It is sometimes it takes 24-hour time of your time. You live in a situation where the refugees are. You live with them sometimes in the camps. Of course, separate from where they live, but almost closer to the camps and so on. Initially, that's where I was living. And stress level is very high. Stress level is very high because you have very less amenities. We used to joke around at the time, we didn't have running water. You see, we need to take a bucket of water and then put a tank over our shower and then have a tap and then open the tap and then stand under the tap. That is our shower, in the camps. So when some of the foreigners come and ask, oh, there is no shower, I said, no running water here. We used to tell them, come, I will show you running water. Take them to River Nile and show them this is the running water here. You jump into the River Nile. You see, we are at the border with Uganda and Sudan, where the River Nile used to flow. At that time, the refugee camps used to be there. So that's how we used to cope with. And we used to work as a team. In a team, we sit and chat, recreate. There's nothing. We were living under, we call that a 1,000-star hotel. 1,000-star hotel is the open sky for us. Sit outside, look at the skies, and then after the work, we come back and share about our experiences. That's how it was a stress buster for us. Yeah. And, we were well equipped with many novels as well. So though we lived in a very remote places, my predecessors and so on, used to buy a lot of novels and stock them for us. So what happens is, each one of us pick novels we like and read them. In that way, reading helps you a lot. That means, you psychologically distance yourself from your work and then, try to be with yourself. And also socializing was another way that, talk to our own team. Also, we used to mingle with the other NGOs, those who are working in that area, because each one of us is specialized in particular field when we work. Like, when I was in Uganda, to give an example, we used to work with the education mainly. As you read, 40,000 refugees at a time were getting education from us, refugee children and the youth. So what happens is we provided education, and then somebody else would do WASH. WASH, let me give the full form of WASH. It is water, sanitation, and hygiene. It's shortened as WASH. So in a refugee camp, you need to provide them water, drinking water, and also to bathe them. And then they need sanitation. They need hygiene as well. So health and hygiene, everything goes together, health and hygiene. So the other NGOs provide something like this. And then some people who provide camp management, so rule of law and so on, they take care of it and so on. So we all used to meet now and then, socialize. And that's how we managed our stress initially, when I was getting into this work.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing all of that. Thank you. Somewhere down the line, like I felt like, yeah, maybe I too would want to be in that spot where you were, wanting to see the real suffering of people, doing my best. But yes, but I can live my life by reliving your life now. Like, when you're sharing all of this, like, yeah, I'm just feeling that, yeah, I'm at the side of you over there while you were reading the book or having humor, sitting under the, 1,000-star hotel, as you said. All of that, I formed a mental picture with you when you were sharing all of that and felt the presence as you were sharing. I felt really present in the moment when you were really sharing. That is very true. The way you've been able to overcome all your stress, as you said, lots of stressful situations, but yes, you've overcome all of that. You've overcome all of that. Yes. And I'd love to be there. Maybe in the next birth, I would be the next Aden. You never know.
Yeah, no, never too late. We can start somewhere.
Yeah, how sweet. That's really nice. I wish I get a chance. All of us, not only me, my dear friends, all of you out there should have this in mind, to give back in the right way to the society, to the really underprivileged people who require our help. Yes, friends, that's a beautiful journey which Sarah has had, and now it's a new journey with us on the International Fabtalks. Let's get to know more about our special celebrity. Dear sir, any specific book based on refugees, to know the life of refugees, the pain of refugee, would you like to recommend any book like that, or any book of your choice, which you have read? As you said, reading gives you peace of mind. There's a psychological shift, mindset will be changed when you read. So any book that comes to your mind?
For me, the first thing is I read a book called Refugee. It's a fantastic book. It's kind of a novel in a way, novel form. It is written by Mr.Aden, I think, I can't remember his second name, Aden, refugee. He talks about 3 children, refugee children of different backgrounds and their journey. It's a beautiful book that, that gives you some insights into the life of refugee. Basically that is very, very inspiring book. And then I used to read a lot of novels, like Alistair MacLean used to be one of my favorite author, all war crimes and then war novels I used to read, because sometimes when you're there, what you see all the time is war around you, a lot of negativity. So, read something, so that kind of keeps you to know what is happening around you and so on. So the Refugee would be a novel that everybody should read, I feel. Those who would like to work with refugees, yes.
Yes. And so beautifully you said, those who would love to work with the refugees. My dear youngsters, everyone, the middle-aged, the senior citizens, whoever have that zeal and grit within you, a determination that, yes, I have to do something for humanity, you could go ahead and give your services, give your time and compassion, have compassion. Dear sir, how would you want to be remembered in this world? And why should people remember Aden Raj?
It's a very, very good question. A person who works with passion. That's something, everybody used to tell me as well. A person who worked with passion. Whereas that's why I think I survived for 25 years in this work. Many people get stressed and then may leave. I've left also, those who joined with me, and many have left because they couldn't survive. But if you have that passion and then know how to handle your stress and the love for your work, you need to get certain satisfaction from your work. People ask me, why are you here? Why are you doing this? I said, I get a lot of satisfaction, immediate satisfaction, which you may not get. You work in a company or produce a car, and what is your satisfaction? You're producing a car for somebody else, not for yourself. At the end of the day, you may be taking a motorbike back home, but somebody else is enjoying the labor, of yours, which is the car. Okay. So whereas here in the refugee situation or in a social work in that per se, you could see the fruit of your labor. You could see that, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction. When I see my, in an education setup, people thirst to listen to you, because they long for education. They are deprived of that education. In the refugee camps, they're languishing without anything. And then you give them under a thatched roof, some kind of an education facility. They are so eager to learn, and to see them at the end of so many years in Africa, see some of them becoming teachers, some of them becoming government officials later on. And that gives immense pleasure for you. So what else you require in life than this? You can see the fruit of your labor, and you see people growing, and it is the humanity that we are working at. Look at this, a beautiful person that you made out of, your work, and then by teaching them, by being with them, in the camps, that's basically what kept me going as well for 25 years, irrespective of all negativeness. I given only one or two incidents, but there are worst incidents that have taken place, where abduction used to take place, and then I was helping through the radio, the walkie-talkie radio, codon radio we call it. At the time there are no telephones, and in that part of the world, and we used to use this radio communication, one-way communication. So I'm about 400 kilometers away, and then something is happening there, with the rebel groups, and then I had to coordinate that and to make sure our team is safe, everybody's safe, and so on. So these are the situations where we have worked with them, and people come back and then look at you and keep in touch with you even now. I left Africa in 2007 and moved to Thailand to work there. But even now, the people call me on my birthday and wish me from Africa. I said, my goodness, I thought they would have forgotten me. So many people would have come into their life, but they remember. Yes, a person who worked with dedication and compassion. I loved what I did. I enjoyed it. Somebody, one of my bosses used to tell me, Aden, make sure you go home. I used to have a family duty station with me in Africa. Make sure you go home, otherwise your wife will disown you soon. Because so much of work I used to put in, that laughingly they used to tell me. And then I come back home and I tell my wife this is what they told me at the time. But she was another good partner to understand what I was doing. She respected my passion, and then she was with me. And then of course she was doing her own work. In that way, it helped us to live our goal, our ambitions, what we wanted to do in life. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing all of that. Very nice. And definitely, as you said, people still remember you now. You've left Africa in 2007, you said, and yet they're connected with you, wishing you for your birthday. Maybe know your birthday, not the year.
Yeah, that's true, actually. They wouldn't know the year because, but in the camps and so on, we used to celebrate birthdays, small events to bring in life into the camp and so on. So yes, they remember the birthday.
Maybe you also get to know your birthday.
It's on 26th of June.
26th June.
Yeah, that's the time they remember. And then, so they call me, even my own staff, some of them are I used to be very good to them, even drivers and watchmen and so on. They call me now. Even now, most of them are retired. They call me and speak to me and so on. Only thing is, even watchmen and drivers in Africa, especially in Uganda, can speak very good English. So
Yes.
they spoiled me in a way. So they didn't even allow me to learn their language because they can speak English. So it
What
was
a way
easy
to
for me.
say, they spoiled me in a way they didn't allow me to learn the language.
Yeah, they didn't because they were speaking the language so easy to communicate, and that didn't even force me to learn the language.
Yes.
So nice people, very nice people.
Polite, very polite. I've been speaking to a few of them. I've been interviewing a few of them, and they're very polite when they
Very
talk.
polite people. Wow. Once they like you, and then they go out of their way
Yes.
to support you.
Yes, agree. I agree with you, sir. So, spreading love across the world, lots of love to Africa and all the other countries as well, my dear friends, from the International Fab Talks. Dear sir, now let's come down from the serious note to a much lighter note. Maybe that could be also connected with your work. Is there any movie that you love which is connected with the refugees, which you admire a lot?
One thing, Killing Fields. I don't know how many of you have seen it. What happened in Cambodia? I've seen the movie before I visited the place. And I visited the place. Wow, that movie. Sometimes I used to think, wow, humanity can be so cruel. At the same time, we don't respect one another because we have a different ideology. We take revenge on others. To see that Killing Fields, that movie was a really touching movie for me. So there were a few documentaries on refugees which I loved, and then I forget the title, beautiful title, about a group of Sudanese refugees, Dinka tribe, who the young people have to walk all along about thousands of kilometers to come to Uganda, and they made a documentary on them. A place called Kriandongo in Uganda. In that camp, they came and stayed. I forget the Lost Boys. I think it's called the Lost Boys. And mind you, they started with about eight of them as friends. Started the journey from Sudan, South Sudan, and then walked. And then at the end, when they reached the place, they were only 4. And in the meantime, others have died during the journey. And then the whole thing about the journey, So this kind of documentaries and the film, very much in my mind, very much in my mind. And then inspiring in a way. Looking at it, you realize, what you should not be.
Very
what
true.
you should not be as a human being.
Yes.
If you look at it, everybody as your brother and sister, and why such an enmity at all in the heart of people? So basically that is something, yes, this kind of thing should be documented so that we don't repeat that mistakes. But unfortunately, we are repeating that mistakes.
History repeats itself again.
Yeah, we keep on repeating it. I thought, when I left refugees and so on, we used to have only 50 to 70 million refugees in the world. And now, look at it, and then we are 110 million refugees in the world. That includes displaced people as well, internally displaced people. So basically, that makes me wonder, what is happening in the world, what we are doing, how we are going to take the world to another level. So where are we going wrong? Where are we going wrong? In our education system, starting from education onwards, we are very much concerned about individuals, making me a doctor, making me an engineer. But I would like each one to be a better human beings. That's more important, I feel. That's why I like that term that somebody has mentioned about global citizens. And then we need to talk more about global citizens. That possibly that kind of value system around global citizenry will help us to move out of this pettiness, I feel. hopefully that we'll have a better world for tomorrow.
What a way to share this, sir. What a way to share it so beautifully. I really loved everything that you shared. It did make great sense to me and to everyone here who's present. And all of you, my dear friends, to be a global citizen, and as well as, don't be worried if you're a great doctor or an engineer. Above all, concentrate on becoming a great human being. That is the message Aden sir has given us today. I really applaud you, sir, for thinking so high at a higher level. It's not like for wanting to be a politician, wanting to be a doctor, an engineer, or any of these professions. You could be all of that. And if you forget to be a human being, forget to have the humility within you, then that makes no sense, no matter who you are. It could be the president of any country. It could be the prime minister of any country. It could be any professional or non-professional. You should have humility, human values, sympathy, compassion, empathy, above all, respect for human life. And for no reason there is war, because we all are the same. As you mentioned, global citizens. We should have only one citizenship, and it is called global citizenship. I would love that. That's really nice. Yes, friends, we all belong to one earth. We all are going to leave this world one fine day. So let's love and respect each other. Sir, it's really a honor to interview you today. And I feel, yes, what work I am doing, like I am into this interviewing sessions, it really gives me joy when I meet people like you, who have really given something to the society and who are still doing their best. That really gives me immense joy within. As you said, when I'm in the refugee camp, and I've seen, when I help somebody and see the satisfaction on their face, the smile, their resilience. So when you people like share your journey, people like you, if I put it right in the right way, it really gives me lots of happiness and say, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. That's really nice. Thank you. I would want the world to know that there are good people out there. When we think that there are negative people, when we come across bad people in our life, we think, oh, the world is bad. My dear friends, the world is not bad. There are only a few people who can't understand you. But the world has so many good people. You could reach out to them and meet them and collaborate, communicate, and network. Yes, dear? That was making me a little emotional. I was like, went deep into that. Yes, sir. Now we go on to the next question. The next question is, what is that one thing that you love about yourself? This is Aden, and I love myself. I respect myself because this is the inner core quality of mine. I live by this quality. I go by this.
I believe what I say, and then I live by what I say. Basically, that's what I am. Whatever I take, I give 100% of myself. Even now, I moved from refugee work when I came back to India because, after 25 years, I said I need to have a family. If I wish I could be without family and do a lot of work, but, family life, you have a family. So I came back to India, but I have not missed my, that passion to work for the people. Therefore, we started a small school, inclusive school, because as you know, we have been running school. And then inclusiveness is something that we are looking at. Why, when we started this vocational training program in Thailand for Burmese, we realized that, there are certain people, slow learners are there, and some of the teachers did not know how to handle them. And also we had people with autism and then other problems, and they didn't know. So my wife also is an educator. So we started a very small school here in Chennai with an inclusive method where we can bring in people with intellectual development disability to the mainstream based on their level of disability in the spectrum. Some of them are mild, some of them are moderate, some of them are acute. So those who are mild and moderate, they can be brought back into the mainstream of the society and make them feel that they are earning members and they are part of the society, rather than isolating them, asking them to be, you are somebody, you are disabled, you need to be sitting in the corner of the house. But they can be somebody contributing to the society in whatever the way they want. So that is something that we have started. So again, I have shifted by my intensity has not gone down. I'm again, so whatever I take, I get myself involved. In the same way, being in the Asha Niketan as well, that is something that when people ask me to be part of it, I said, listen, I've been a refugee, and then I'm myself a refugee, and then I love refugee work. I may be doing consultancy more in the refugee work than this. They said, no, looking at you, you will get to know this work very fast, and then you will enjoy it. Lo and behold, and then I am there with them as, started as a support person and then ended up being a chairperson for them as a voluntary chairperson for this organization there, where I help them with the organizing themselves for a quality service. This organization, inspired me in a way, because they call their people with disabilities, they call them core members. They are the core to their existence. If you are a caregiver, you are caregiver and you exist in that community just because of this person who is a core member. So the whole term itself, core member, calling them core member, it's something that inspired me. So in that way, once I get committed and then, I go for it fully. That's something, whatever I believe in, I take it up and then I give 100% of myself.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing all of that. Thank you very much. I love this inclusive school, including all the others as well. That's really very nice. And a core committee, to have that feel that I am responsible for their existence and they are also responsible for me of what I am today. Yeah. It is because of them that I am what I am today. So that is also in a very beautiful way you put it in a nutshell. You made it very clear. Yes, sir. Dear sir, may we now know the difference between smart work and hard work? You've been through this. There were certain situations you might have faced where you would require smart work to be put in. In some cases, hard work. So how would you know that, yes, this zone requires smart work and this hard work? Is there something you could share with us?
So basically, smart work requires a little bit of planning. Whereas hard work is basically what we need to do is, you need to respond to a situation and then go into it right away. Okay. In the context where I come from, that is the way it works. How do I respond to what we call, we move from emergency to an acute emergency. If there is an acute emergency, if there is, if there is house is on fire, what do? You need to respond. That is smart. It does not work. You just take a bucket of water or something, whatever is available in your hand, or a sand and run because you want to help. So that is, and then you go and give yourself and work hard. That is what I call responding to certain things and putting yourself on, working there 24/7, try to achieve that. That's a hard work. Smart work is, there are certain things that we can do it if you plan little well. That means, what I call that there are certain works that are second line of emergency, not a front line emergency. Okay, what are those second line emergencies? One is education. It's a second line emergency. Providing them shelter, providing them skills to live by themselves, making them self-sufficient. That means they can sustain themselves. So these are smart works. So what happens, the second line of emergency, you can sit and plan. How can I make these people self-reliant? That I need to plan, a little bit of planning. If you do a little bit of planning, what smartly can execute it, convert them from dependent to independent, dependent to independent. You see, that is something I feel smart planning. Okay, so we can do a lot of smart planning in that way. We don't have to all the time, do afterwards, think and do, and then in that way you can achieve your goals faster.
Yes, sir. Thank you for explaining it so well, between the difference between smart work and hard work. Smart work, you require a lot of planning, my dear friends. And yes, work smart, work hard as well. Yes. Dear sir, would you like to mention the names of some of your best friends? Who are your very best buddies who have been right through your journey, right from your childhood till date? Would you like to mention their names? You're most welcome.
Yeah, I have a few people that, I have a guy in my village. We grew up together in thick and thin, basically. He's still there in the village, and whenever I go there, I spend some time with him and come back. His name is Michael. He's a school teacher, another gentleman, nice fellow. So very good person to be with and confide in, And on work front also, I had some very good friends. An American called Mike Foley used to tell me, he's a bit senior to me, but gave a lot of advice. and has been an inspiration as well. Another person who can inspire, because he's a person exemplifies this what you call the smart work. That's what I learned from him, how to work smartly. Because one thing I can give you an example. I told you we had about 40,000 students in our schools, and then we had at the time what happened, we had only about one higher secondary school in the camps. So which means every year from class 10, about nearly 4,000 children graduate, 4,000 to 5,000 children, but we have only one school. That school can at one time can take 200 children, no, not more than that. So what to do with the rest of them? That's where the smart planning comes in. And we had an interesting program for them. We had different events planned for these people, so they get engaged in the camps. Idleness leads to all kind of social evils, so especially among the youth. And therefore we planned such a way that we engage the youth. And this guy Mike Foley has been there, and then he is a guy who is dedicated, and then who has worked with us in planning in a smart way and trying to help people. So he has been another help. And also another guy called John. I can't hear you.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, another guy called John. He was a driver, but he took care of us. He took care of us. When there was insecurity in the middle of the night, sometimes it happens for us in the refugee camps, not because of the refugees, because of the rebels who come to trouble the refugees. So at the time, he would come in the middle of the night also to take us to a safer place, by car and so on. And then he used to chat in the evenings, sit together and share our life. And then, it's a very good friend rather than a driver. So I remember him as well. So he keeps calling me. I told you they keep calling me for my birthdays and so on. He's one of the guys, and then I like him very much. So you are very good human beings. Whatever profession we do, but they are more than that. They are very good human beings.
Yes, dear sir. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you very much, and sending lots of love to all of the friends who are connected with sir. Thank you for being in his life. Thank you for making his life beautiful then and even now. Sir sends his love from here to all of you. That's really nice, sir. Thank you for sharing all of those beautiful incidents, as you shared everyone, what role they played in your life and how you were connected right from the village, the friend in your village, right up to South Africa, the driver who saved your lives and who's still connected with all of you. Dear sir, what makes you smile? When do you smile often?
What makes me smile? When I see people, people who are there ready to help others, that brings smile in me. And then, even in a small things, as you get down from your boss or something, there'll be somebody help you out to get down. And then I could see that, when a senior member of our community wants to get out of the car, or a bus, and then there is somebody to give a helping hand. And looking at it, brings a smile on my face. That means there is, we are connected. We are not individuals. We are connected. Yes. That brings a smile.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for sharing that getting down from the bus or being received by someone. You find joy in small things. Yeah. And that brings a smile to your face. Any weakness, sir?
Weakness in me? Yeah, sometimes I get, when I see what is happening around me is not going according to what I would expect, what is this? Why such a thing is happening around me? You feel a bit down, disappointment. So where are we moving? What is happening around me? Why why we are becoming very narrow-minded, on our ideologies, rather than living together. The whole idea of tolerance, when it is very less and less in the world, that kind of bothers me a bit.
Yes, thank you, sir, for sharing. Thank you very much. From where do you derive your strength? When you feel low, when you feel depressed, when you feel anxious, from where do you get that strength to continue the journey again?
It is, I think, I'll go back. I'm a bit of a religious person as well. So my faith brings me back in a way to what I want, do unto others what you want them to do to you is something that keeps me going all the time. So that is, there are few inspirational words that I keep, within me, like, leadership. Basically, there is something on leadership also I always keep, leadership is your ability to hide, your anxiety from others. So basically that this kind of inspirational words keeps me going, because, being a country director and then, a lot of anxious moments, but you have to be showing others in a way like, yes, I understand. But actually within me, so much of insecurity is there, but yet you have to show and then take time to reflect and come back. And then, otherwise your team also gets low. The speed comes low and so on. So you have to keep motivating them, keep going. So these are these inspirational quotes, and my faith in God keeps me going. Yes.
Thank you so much for that beautiful explanation about the leader. He himself is insecure, but he cannot show it. He or she cannot show it. They have to put a brave front and keep the team strong. You explained that very well. And I'd love that if you take a session on leadership for us, I would really be very happy, because there's a lot of that you could share to the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Every leader out there will have certain fears within, but when they come out and mix and bond with the team members or in the presence of their families, their countrymen, they have to be strong and brave. Yes, I get that very well. When you explained it, I've been through that journey. So I very well know. At a certain point of time, I was also leading a team. So then I know what went within me, what was inside me, the thoughts and feelings and the gut instinct and everything, and what I had to portray out. Like, yes, no, you have to be stronger. You have to put out your brave front. And they should look at you as one of the strongest, as you're the leader, the strongest among all in the team. Yes, sir. It makes me nostalgic when you're sharing all of this. There's a lot to correlate with you and resonate a lot with what you're sharing today with us. That's really nice. Dear sir, did you find anything that's scared you to life? You're scared to death. Yes, this is the greatest fear I'm facing. Or you could answer it like this. Are there any fears that you have still within you?
When I was, in Africa, there was an incident that scared me to death. I was traveling, and then I had to go from one place to the other, but the whole place is infested with landmines. They have not cleared the landmines. I had to cross the border from Uganda to Sudan. And at the time, it is a highly insecure place. I felt like, listen, I know I have come to serve here. At the same time, I value my life, kind of a feeling that comes to you. So until I reached that place, my destination, I wasn't sure what will happen, And you walk, when you are traveling also, you see people there, people with a gun walking. And you don't know whether they are soldiers or whether they are rebels. But all of them will have gun. And then all of them will have an uniform. So basically, but looking at, whether they are wearing slippers or shoes, that's the way you distinguish one from the other. So basically, these are the things that kind of scared me to death. At one point, what happened was, I crossed that road within 20 minutes. Another bus comes in the same road, and then I escaped with my driver, whereas that bus was ambushed by the rebels. And then about nearly 20 people in that bus died. And that time, a rebel group in Uganda, northern Uganda, called Lord's Resistance Army was there. And then I was traveling from a town called Gulu to another small town called Ajumani in northern Uganda. So I thought, my goodness, maybe they have seen me crossing, but somehow they left me to go, and then they waited for the bus or something like that. I felt, wow, these are the incidences that scare me to death. That these guys have no value for life, and they are so easily take it. They easily take it. And then another incident where our own driver is burnt with the car. This time in another route, and then this guy actually be a curfew after 5 p.m. If they travel, see, we live in a very remote places. We travel to small towns to buy groceries and so on, and then go for our team. And then this boy, our driver, he dropped somebody to take a flight from there to the town, to the city, and then he was supposed to stay there for the night and go in the morning. But he thought, being a local, he can drive back. So at the time when he was going back, he was hit by the RPG, and then the whole vehicle and him was burnt in the car. That is another incident that I feel very sad about, and then that's where I feel that people are still there, this kind of people. So that scares me.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Thank you for recollecting the past incidents that you've been through and how you escaped the jaws of death, and you're here with us today sharing your time. Thank you so much, and we thank the Almighty too that you're here with us to share all of those experiences, and to, of course, create awareness across the world that it's not war, it is peace that is required. Yes. Dear sir, is there anything that makes you very angry?
What makes me angry? When I see that, we are becoming very, very narrow-minded, when we don't look, a little more open-mindedness, look for yourself. When you are in a meeting and everybody talks about themselves and their community, not looking at the real issue. We're not looking at the issue. We leave the issue out, but see that what benefit or you get from that issue. So that kind of angers me in a way. Angers me. Even a small issue like, flooding a street, the street is flooded, and then you only want to take care of your house first. Of course you should. But at the same time, you are not looking at the root causes, why there is a flood in this place, how we can, mitigate that situation. If you look at it, then your house, not only your house, everybody's house can be saved from the flood. You see, so that is something that that kind of selfishness, narrow-mindedness is sometimes gets on my nerves. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing. Thank you very much. So, is there a message that you would like to give for all of the youngsters out there, the youngsters, the youth, middle-aged and senior citizens? A strong message from you, sir.
For me is, as I said earlier, have some kind of clarity for yourself, for your life. What I want to be. For young generation, I'm talking about. What do you want to be? What I want to be? What type of person I want to be? Yes, I want to have all comforts in life, yet I want to do something to the society. So we are all social beings. We live because of the other. We don't live in isolation. So that we need to be very clear. I like this particular thing in, I think somewhere in the climatic, UN climate session that they talked about, they mentioned one term which I liked very much: intergenerational justice. What we are today, the world we inherit today, is the world that is left by our ancestors, and therefore we have a right and duty to protect this world and make a world better place for the future generation. So that's so in that way, we need to plan ourselves, prepare ourselves, and then work towards making this world a better place for all. Even seniors, that have a life of where we need to be helpful to one another, be present to one another, rather than, be within yourself. So these kind of things, I see that, if you have certain clarity for yourself, live by certain values. And then I think we will be not just a better Indian or, a better, you will be a better global citizen, So that's where, the whole thing is that we should be inspired to be a better global citizens. Our color may be different from a European to an Indian to an African, but we are all human beings. And therefore, if you have that one thing that we are all, our source is the same, and we are all human beings, therefore, ultimately, we are all global citizens. And if you have it, the boundaries will not be there. We don't talk about, boundaries. And then you are a refugee, you cannot cross over and then take over, my liberties that I enjoy in this country and so on. You will not say that, because come and share. I'm happy. I've got what I need. I've got more than what I need. Therefore, you come also share with us. Kind of an attitude. If you have that, this world would be much better. There'll be less war, less conflicts, less problems. And we live in peace and harmony, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. You've very beautifully put it and very rightly put it, sir. You've really done justice to that question. Thank you very much that I asked you to give me a nice message, and you put that so beautifully. That's really nice. Much appreciated. Sir, if you weren't who you are today, who took care of the refugees, who gave your time to the people who really required your help, which other profession you would have chosen? If not this, then what?
I would have been a teacher. Because that is the other one, I would like to, because, as I told you, I've been molded in that way already. So I was there, before I moved into refugee work or social work, I was already teaching in the college. But I wouldn't be teaching in the college because, I would have moved into something different. But being a teacher, moved into some, people who needed education much, I would have moved into it. Because even when I was teaching in St. Xavier's College, I was more, during my free time, I used to go to villages. Villages, not just any village, but tribal villages. There used to be biggest tribe, both West Bengal and in Jharkhand now. And then at the time, it used to be Bihar when I was there. So Santal tribes, that Santal tribe is one of the biggest tribe in India. I used to go there and then try to do how to provide education. So one of the things with one of the person there we worked is in accelerated learning programs for them, because they have missed the education. When we bring them to school, they are already 11 and 12 years old, and therefore how to put them into main schools. So we need to we keep them in our place for for 1 or 2 years. Give them a fast track training. Now even Indian government took over that kind of a plan, accelerated training programs for this kind of people in the hill stations and so on. So we did that. So I was teaching in the college, and then yet I used to go some of my vacation time, be there part of the system. So maybe I would have moved more into those kind of education system and then try to give more education for the people. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. It just spontaneously came out like, yes, teaching. It spontaneously just came out of your mouth. Yes. Other than this, it would have been teaching. Wonderful, sir. Dear sir, your favorite color?
Blue.
Your favorite subject?
Social themes. Anything to discuss about that? Yes.
Yes, sir. A favorite quotation? You love this proverb or a quotation, anything close to your heart?
Yeah, I mentioned to you earlier, do unto others what you want them to do to you. If you want others to respect you, you will respect them first. I often tell them that is, when I give a training program for the youth, there is a story that says that, good dog, bad dog story. I don't know whether you guys heard it. When a little girl goes to a grandfather and asks about a good dog, bad dog story, why there is good and evil in this world. And this old man, he says that, as long as human exists, there is good and bad. And this good and bad exists in each one of us. How is it possible? So she says, it is like good dogs and bad dogs. No, explain. So the old man explains that, each one of us, there is a good dog and bad dog. But it depends on which dog you feed most. If you feed your bad dog most, every time you interact with the other person, your bad dog comes out. If you feed within you the good dog most, your good dog will come out. Is it? So that this is something that often, keep that one telling people also. And I also use this to tell them, even people can react with their bad dog to you. So how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to let your bad dog out from you? Or you are going to tell them, no, he's trying to annoy me. I'm not going to let my bad dog come out. I'll let my good dog come out. I will tell him, you are trying to annoy me, but I'm not going to be annoyed. This is what I want to tell you. I'm telling you this. So in that way, that's what I said, do unto others what you want them to do to you. If you want them to do good to you, you do good to them. So then automatically they will reciprocate the same to you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. A lovely quote that you've shared, and everyone should follow it. It's very true. Treat others just the way you want to be treated. Right, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. Do unto others what you want to be, what others should do to you. So it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
So till date, your proudest accomplishment, you've been accomplishing so many different things, overtaking so many projects, accomplishing them, different mission. You were on a different mission, like, wanting the best to be given out to those people who are refugees, wanting them to have at least a dignified life. Now, among all of this, your proudest achievement till date. Yeah, I am feeling great because I have completed this mission.
So one of the things is, I pioneered this peace education program in Uganda. At the time, there was a lot of conflict. What used to happen is, Uganda is one of the countries in the world where refugees are allowed to settle. It is not a camp, it is called a settlement camp. So they used to live very close to the citizens, So when you live with the citizens and there is a lot of conflicts, coexistence becomes a problem, mainly because when the resources are less. Given one example, what I call the conflict points are the water points where we draw water for our drinking. Only there will be one bore well, and then everybody has to draw water from that bore well for drinking, and both nationals as well as the refugees. And therefore, you are a refugee. You are not supposed to take water from here, or you are a second-class fellow. You are not supposed to come and take water and so on. So when there were a lot of issues like this, we had to discuss this among ourselves with the local community and find a way to bring peace and coexistence, peaceful living, that we live together as a community. So there we introduced the peace education or peace building for our communities. And then in the schools, we introduced peace education with the UN, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. When it becomes a major issue, then I pioneered that with them. And that became very successful in the schools. They have a peace corners in the, if there is any problems and so on, then they came out, spoke about their issues, and they had a peace corner with the students who will resolve their conflicts. And in the community, when the nationals as well as refugees have to sit together and resolve and find a way to share that limited resources like water, which is a very important resource. And, this peace building in the community and peace education in the schools have helped a lot. So because of this, I feel that, after I left Uganda, and then it was still taken further, and even UN has made it as, put it into their curriculum, peace education, as one of the subjects to be taught in the refugee schools. And it is taken not only from to Uganda, to other countries as well. So I find that, this is a major achievement we have done. And then for a peaceful coexistence of both refugee community as well as the local community. So that I see is a very big achievement on our part. It's a team of us, and then I'm part of that team. We have achieved this in a way.
Yes, dear friends, that was really a beautiful sharing experience by our celebrity is Mr.Aden Raj, short form Aden Raj, but actually he is a great person who's been sharing all of his expertise with us. His experiences, life experiences are really the greatest ones in life, dear friends. We'll take a short break and we'll be back again with our special celebrity in part 2. This is part 1. Sir has a lot more to share with us, to educate us and to enlighten us that yes, peace is required in the world. And yes, we should focus on being a global citizen and give our best to the world. And of course, to humanity at large. Dear sir, we'll be back again with you just after a short break. Thank you for staying with us. And we love you for who you are. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's catch up. Bye.
Yes, dear friends, we'll be back very soon. Stay tuned and stay connected.